viewer or viewers to Bill Has Opinions. What I actually wrote down is insert witty phrase with sarcastic twist, but I didn't have one. So, but I'm Laura Lavoie, and I am joined, of course, by Bill Perkins, who has opinions. How are you today, Bill?
I'm good. I'm good today. I was telling Laura before the show, I spent a couple days at the lake down in South Carolina this weekend, so I'm a little pinkish, but yeah, it's had a day or two off and putted around on a boat, and anyway, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, good. I just have to tell you, I got to start telling you, I've had a roller coaster of a day.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, this is going to sound absolutely like first world problems, right? But first of all, it's gray and nasty out here, which apparently Bill has told me the reason it's gray and nasty in Atlanta is ash from the wildfires. So that's fun, that we're literally on the other side of the country and we're hazy because of fire ash. So
big fires.
They are big. Well, half the country is on fire. So, fundraising, do whatever you can to help and support the people out in California, Oregon, and other cities, states out there, because they definitely need some help. But then I had to pay my quarterly taxes because just because there's a pandemic doesn't mean you can't pay your taxes. So there goes a bunch of money that I barely made. But then I've got another one for you. Then that's why it's roller coaster. I learned that the Great British Baking Show would be airing their newest season on Netflix in conjunction with the British airings. So now I'm excited again.
Oh, well, like in real time, like as they come
out. 4 days later or whatever. But I can wait 4 days.
Yeah. It's not like it might take you 4 days to torrent it. So whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So my day has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions, and on we and then off we, but here we are. So what are you drinking?
I am currently drinking some more of that Highland Clawhammer Oktoberfest beer. I had one of those before the show just to go ahead and get my buzz on. I'm drinking another one right now. And when I finish that, I've got Green Man Porter lined up as my next beer. Because I mentioned last week that we were having our False Fall here. And I assumed wrongly that False Fall would have ended by now. We would have gone back into second summer. But apparently, no, we've got a reprieve from that right now. I don't know when it's going to come back around. I still think it's going to happen. But today I walked out my house and it was 61. And yeah, it felt like a crisp fall day to me. Like I was like, boy, some football, except it's not really. I mean, there is football, but from what I've heard from everyone who's really into football, it's kind of weird this year because like the vibe just isn't there.
Yeah, I will. I have that on my list of things to cover shortly because I am a football fan, and yeah, it's real weird right now. But so I'm jealous of your fall beers, though. Although we are going to have a fall beer episode coming up, because let me tell you another sad story about my life right now. I bought some Duck Rabbit Milk Stout to have for this show because it's a delicious dark beer in bottles, and we cracked open a bottle the other day and poured it, and both of us took sips, and it wasn't right. Something was terribly wrong with it.
Either got a bad or was stored improperly or something.
Yeah, it was definitely and because both of us had the immediate reaction, I'm like, well, it's not just me. It was like it just tasted all off and wrong and bad and whatever level of badness it was. So I don't have that for the show. So I'm just drinking regular old beer right now. I got the Scofflaw Basement IPA going to start with.
So,
and then
this is a Scofflaw that's specifically made for my parents' basement or something?
No, it's just their basement. They just call it basement.
Oh, okay. So there's two things in your area that have basement in the title.
That is correct. Scofflaw Brewing's Basement IPA, that's their flagship. And then My Parents' Basement, which is a nerdy restaurant. But then I also have an all-day IPA, which I suppose you can make a case that that could be fallish. It's got a Woody
Sure.
on it. Sure.
Yes.
Right
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
So-
I kind of consider the Woody with the kayak on it more summery, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's made in Michigan, so
Okay.
Michigan doesn't have a summer. They just go straight from spring to fall. So,
All right.
and Jay appreciates my my beer options, but that's my sad beer story of the day. I'm really
sorry.
sad about that.
I'm so sorry that you had the bad milk stout.
So bad.
One of these days, and I might have talked. Well, I'm going to go on this tangent right now. What the heck ever. My friend Steve Bass is guilty of being the purveyor of the first tour of the Duck Rabbit Brewery, because the Duck Rabbit Brewery is actually in like some little podunk town in eastern North Carolina.
Farmville, Eastern North Carolina.
That'll give you a hint right there. Farmville, it's called. So it's the closest thing it's close to is Greenville, North Carolina, which is what is that? It's mildly coastal, but not quite, right? Like it's
right.
it's-
Yeah, no, it's a few. In Crazy Ex-Girlfriend terms, it's 2 hours from the beach.
Yeah. Okay. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours from the beach. It's mostly surrounded by tobacco fields, I guess. Anyway, he was visiting his sister in Greenville, and he called up the Duck Rabbit Brewery and said, "Hey, do you guys do tours?" And they're like, "I mean, we don't not do tours. Whatever. Yeah, sure, come over." And he came over and he saw their whole operation and went on like what we would consider a regular brewery tour, but all the breweries where we live do this on the regular. Apparently, this was the first time they'd ever done it. And it was one guy, and he was just going on a tour, and they were showing him the operation and stuff. And then afterwards, they went in this room and they got all these T-shirts and glasses and things and handed him some swag and were like, "Here, thanks for coming."
Oh my god! Oh my god! I want to call them up and do that now.
Right? Because it's just so quaint, right? It's just cute that like they had never done a brewery tour before. And so I'll say this because I'm coming to you live from the Purple Onion like I always am. And that's one of the taps usually in the wintertime especially is always going to be a Duck Rabbit Milk Stout, which is, I think that's their signature beer really, right? Like
Yeah,
they
only do dark beers, and that's their flagship.
Yeah, and I've only had like 3 of their beers. I've had their Marzen, and I've had their Wee Heaviest, I think. Which their Wee Heaviest is, honest to God, it's too heavy. It's like I can't, like it's too much. In all fairness, the one time I had their Wee Heaviest, I'd already had several beers before I had that one. And
that'll do it.
I probably shouldn't have ended with that. It was like the beer that broke me that night, and I was like,
Exactly. No, and they're only, because they specialize in dark beers. Their only hoppy beer is called Hoppy Bunny, and
right.
it's a brown ale with hops. It's good.
Right.
It's very good.
It's a hop brown, right? Exactly.
Yep.
So all their beers are lean that way. But anyway, their milk stout is a delicious beer. For years, actually, when I'd come to the Purple Onion, for a long time, that was all I would drink here. It was the only thing that was ever on tap here that I liked. And there used to be a bartender that worked here years ago who I'd walk in and he would just go ahead and pour me a Duck Rabbit. And as my tastes like finally started to change, or I started to like, I guess, be more, I don't know, like open-minded. I was trying to try other things. I'd come in sometimes and he'd pour me a Duck Rabbit and hand it to me. And I'd be like, I was going to get that other thing.
Then you feel bad. You're like, I'm sorry.
I mean, I would drink it anyway, and then I'd go to the other thing.
And then get the other thing. So
yeah.
I do love, we could honestly just have a beer show. We might want to have like a spin-off show that's just beer, but we actually do have a topic for today. And we already mentioned it a little bit because our topic is fall or autumn, whichever you want to call it. So,
which I know ahead of time, that's why I brought it up.
Right. We need a monologue, Bill. What monologue do you have about fall?
I want to say autumn because first off, fall just sounds so generic. It's like a fall's like calling it dick when its name is Richard. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. It's, I don't know, like autumn. That's formal and it sounds fancy and nice, right? Like, and fall is just kind of like this. And fall is so stupid because as we were talking about earlier in the week amongst ourselves, it's just become this like cliche, like marketing thing. Like fall. Oh, actually, I got a sales circular today for a grocery store. It was like fall for savings or some shit like that. It's just whatever. That's dumb. Every year though, the same shit. You just bury the same pun in in every sales circular. So it's dumb, So anyway, autumn. I would like to say autumn because that's I feel it's not the fall equinox, it's the autumnal equinox, right?
Yeah, well, okay, I've got a counter question for you then, because we call it spring in the spring, but it's the vernal equinox. So would you like to start a petition to refer to spring as Vern?
Vernon?
Vernon? Vernon, if he's fancy.
Who'd be happy about that is Ernest P. Worrell. He'd be like, "Hey, Vern." Yeah, I would like that. Let's start calling it. Let's be more formal with our seasons.
All right, fair enough.
My funny thing, like the summer solstice, does it have like another like antique name for it? Is there?
I mean, not like that. Like if you are around the pagan circles, there are various names for midsummer that are not, but they're all Celtic names.
Do they have a cute name for summer? Is what I was getting.
Nothing scientific.
All right.
Nothing like you would say the vernal equinox or the autumnal equinox. It's
right.
It's just summer and winter.
All right. I just like the word. Autumn's a nice word. Like, so here's the thing. Nobody ever names their daughter Fall. But people do name their daughters Autumn once in a while. So there you go. That's why it's better. If it was better, it was better.
So what do you, other than the naming convention for the season, what are your thoughts on it in general?
Sorry, I thought about this morning because I was thinking about this as I was getting ready this morning because I knew I was going to be asked it. So
we have a formula here on this show.
Right. So yeah, I've got I wouldn't say I'm a goth per se, but I got gothic sensibilities. I like to tell people, right? I mean, I went through that as kind of a phase, which most goths say it's not a phase. It's who I am, and the sensibilities is who I am. I just don't like wearing the costume all the time, right? And I don't just like two styles of music. So that's what separates me from real goths, I think, is those things. But I like fall is my favorite season. I love it because it's crisp and it's certain beauty to the leaves falling off the trees or everything kind of getting a little gloomy. I'll tell you this, I've always loved this about it. You can dress swankier in the fall because it's the right temperature for the clothes you want to wear. Whereas in the summertime, you're kind of at in the South at least, you're at the mercy of the environment. You're going to wear the least amount of clothes possible, which is not what I would wear if I had my way. Like I'm actually a person who likes being well dressed, but I also don't want to sweat to death. So,
right.
So I make sacrifices in the summertime, and then in the winter, of course, you're just freezing, and you put on extra clothes that you don't want to wear. But yes, fall clothing. Also, the new shit always comes out in fall, right? Like that's when the fashion season is sort of released then, right? Like, hey, here's the new shit for the year, and maybe that's going back to school. You remember, like it was like end of summer, and your parents would take you around and buy you new shit. I don't know, like there's just something about it, man. And then all the good holidays are all in the fall, really. Like I love Halloween, and I love Thanksgiving also. I like both of those better than I like Christmas, honestly, and that's got a lot to do with some. Well, we'll talk about that later, and later I mean later in the year when we get to that.
Right.
But But anyway, I prefer the fall holidays. There's so much about it. Oh, and also, and all my friends know this about me, but I'm a basic bitch for pumpkin spice. I love all the pumpkin stuff, like pumpkin bread, pumpkin beer, pumpkin coffee, pumpkin whatever the fuck, some new product that just rolls out and they're like, hey, this has got pumpkin in it. I'm like, shit, yes, it does. I mean,
I am all for pumpkin flavored or pumpkin spice stuff. Like I think there is a difference because a lot of people complain that pumpkin spice isn't pumpkin, but I love it too.
I like a couple things that are just pumpkin spice, but for the most part, I actually want like an even-handed mix. Like pumpkin spice works best when there's actual pumpkin in there too, because they offset each other well. The pumpkin, it's a type of squash basically, right? It's kind of got a bitterness to it. And so the spice sort of like plays off of that and creates a very. And when you just put the spice in something, like if you get a coffee or a beer or something that's just pumpkin spice, it's just like it's just a bunch of spices dumped in a thing.
So we'll save that conversation for our next episode, which we'll talk about later in the show. But you and I have different opinions on that, so that will be a fun and exciting conversation. Heads up, viewers.
I feel like I got to do some shopping for the next show.
Yes, you do. I think you absolutely do. But no, I completely agree. Fall is 100% my favorite season. I grew up in Michigan, where obviously fall is a big deal. You had because that's when the seasons literally changed in the fall, unlike Georgia. And we would have, we would automatically start going to the apple orchards and drinking cider and eating, the cinnamon donuts and then you would head right into Halloween season and Thanksgiving. I absolutely love it. And moving south, Atlanta notwithstanding, Asheville obviously has an amazing fall culture. The city's kind of founded on fall because it's vibrant and it's beautiful, and the leaf season is a huge tourist attraction. So it's kind of meant for it.
Yeah. Keeping is totally the thing around these parts.
Exactly. But I love, so fall for me starts at Dragon Con, which is early technically, but it's Labor Day, right? So like in Michigan, Labor Day was when
Labor Day
started.
Summer and the beginning of fall, technically.
It's the end of it's the unofficial end of summer, I think.
Right. Yes.
So it went from Dragon Con, and then the week after Dragon Con, football starts. And then from
the weekend of Dragon Con, we're just too tied up with other shit.
That's college football, not the NFL.
That is for a lot of people.
The NFL. No, yes, but I'm that person. College people. I like NFL football, and NFL football always starts the week after Dragon Con. So
I'm just saying, I always have to we're actually usually at Dragon Con, and there's the first game of the season for me because I would rather watch college ball, and usually it's on in the corner, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they're gonna lose again this year. Okay.
Yeah, we have a good friend that comes to Dragon Con with us every year who's a huge Nebraska fan. And one of her days of cosplay will typically be Nebraska because it's when the game is playing and she just wants to represent. So she totally will dress up for Nebraska during the day and watch the game at the sports bar in the hotel.
She does the children's porn.
It's exactly the right answer to that. But then from football, then you just careen into Halloween, and then it's Thanksgiving. So yeah, it's just, I have a theory. I have a psychological theory about why we celebrate more things in the fall and winter than we do other times of the year. Which is just a theory, but winter is depressing. It's depressing as hell. Seasonal affective disorder is a thing.
Right.
So we need something to look forward to. So we invented holidays.
Right. I totally get the winter solstice holiday is all about that. It's about the whole idea, dragging the tree into the house and all that is to cheer your ass up because otherwise you're probably gonna go off yourself in a minute. And all the lights and all that, But yeah, the fall thing.
I think it's just a lead up to it. Like,
okay,
the world is dying.
it's fanfare. I get you, but it's funny because like I said, because fall is a lot of people's favorite season. I'd say
Look, potential spam.
oh, good.
I mean, I would prefer actual spam if I'm being honest. Like, bring up Hormel for me. Thank you.
Laura's
It does on the table, and I was like,
Laura's
scared me.
Stuff, so she actually likes the real spam.
Well, I don't love spam, but if I'm gonna get spam, it needs to be brand name, right?
Right. You're not gonna. You don't like treat.
Exactly. So we have a lot more show, but we should probably pause for our station break here because we do have a lot more show. We got a lot more things to talk about, but we like to give shout outs to businesses that we're not being paid to advertise for. So we want to do that today. And today, our station break is Found Sound, a record store in Ferndale, Michigan. And obviously it's personal because my brother works there. So if you happen to be in Ferndale, Michigan, go check out Found Sound. They are open, face masks required. Go in and ask for Michael. He will show you all the cool stuff, and it will be neat. They also just released really new cool t-shirts, and I wish I had saved a screenshot of it to share with you, because that's what made me think about giving a shout out to them, because their new t-shirts are super cool. They're like that, the Cheap Trick design, with the font, with the Cheap Trick, with the typeface.
Oh yeah, where it's like offset a little bit.
Yeah. It looks like that, but it says Found Sound, and it's really, really cool, and I kind of want one. So,
can you order them off their website?
Well, yes, I am sure. Found Sound they're definitely on Facebook, so check out Found Sound on Facebook and probably their website, and order a t-shirt, even if you don't live in Michigan. But if you do live in Michigan and you like vinyl records, well, you were saying you might be visiting Michigan at some point, so you'll probably go check out Found Sound.
I will definitely go to Michigan at some point. I can't put a specific date on it yet, but I will go to Michigan because I've got friends there, and I've never been to Detroit. So yeah, it's gonna happen. With the world like it is right now, I can't put a specific date. I wish I could. No,
that's fair. That's fair. Nobody can. I actually just unrelated to Found Sound, I tried to convince Matt yesterday that we needed to make a trip to Michigan because there's a kitten available. I don't. You're probably familiar, Bill, because I've shown it to you, and it would be perfect for a Halloween episode. But there's a breed of cat called the Lycoy, and
the werewolf cat.
The werewolf cat. So they're like, so you have Sphinx cats, which was our old cat Piglet, who was hairless. And then you have Devon Rexes, who only have the downy undercoat, so they have a really soft curly coat of fur. But then you have Lycoy, who only have the rough outer coat, so it makes them look like werewolves. And there are 2 kittens available in Michigan. And I was like, hey, Matt, you want to go to Michigan? He's like, no, I can't think of a reason why. And I picked the picture, and he's like, oh, okay.
You showed him the cat, and he said, all right. Because you were like, look,
yeah.
It's Jason Bateman in Teen Wolf 2.
Right. So what Bill knows that viewers don't is after we lost our beloved Piglet and we did not have Toast yet, I threatened to get like 6 Lycoys and just have all these Lycoys. They're very expensive, so I'm not going to have 6. But I had names for them all, and they were all things like there was Moon, Steve, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Teen Wolf 2 starring Jason Bateman. And there were a bunch of other ones like that like they had nothing to do with it. Moon and Steve were some of my favorites, but Teen Wolf 2 starring Jason Bateman as a name is a great name.
Yes, Teen Wolf 2 starring Jason Bateman. That was my favorite because it was like a racehorse name, It's like, or like, exactly. I mean, the really fancy cat people, that's what it'll have on the pedigree too. It'll have this like long ass name, and you'll call
Toast. Toast has a fancy name. Toast is a super fancy name. She's Alethea Sky's Toast of the Town is Toast's official fancy cat name. So I know fancy cat names. All right, that's completely off topic though. I mean, werewolf cats, I suppose.
Black cats are related to fall. So there we go. There's your segue. bringing it back around.
We're bringing it back around. All right. So I know we've touched on it in what we've already talked about here, but I kind of want to distill it down. What are your favorite things about fall? What is it that you really, really love about this season?
Well, I already mentioned bitch for pumpkin. That's one thing right there. Let's see. I like, and I said the fashion. I get the weather gets cold. I get to dress like I want to dress. I don't know. It just makes me feel good. Like there's something about. So also, this is something I don't know if I mentioned it before in the show, but I drive a convertible. And when you live in the South, the convertible is almost a 2-season car, really.
Right. Spring and fall.
Exactly. You can't drive around in the middle of summer with the top down. It will kill you. Like it literally, like you'll think you can do it sometimes. The best you can do is if you wait till 9 o'clock at night when the sun goes down, and you can drive around at night with the top down. But even then, it's so god awful humid that you'll put the top back up and turn the air conditioner on.
Right.
After 3 blocks, you know. Also, we also get the pop-up rainstorms during the summer, so you'll think you're safe. You'll have the top down. You'll turn a corner because I live in the mountains, so you turn a corner, and then there's a storm right there in front of you. You're like, oh shit! You pull over and you put the top.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Pop-up thunderstorms, as they exist in the South, is not a thing that exists most other places. Like it is, because it can be perfectly like bright and sunny and lots of fluffy little white clouds, and then literally 2 seconds later, thunder, lightning, storm.
Yeah, for 15 minutes, and then it's over. It's a thing. And honest to God, the summertime here in this area, you can almost plan around. Like it's going to happen. Like I don't know. Like you can't pinpoint exactly, but it's going to happen between 3 and 5 every afternoon.
No, that's true. And when we were back in Asheville, in whenever we were there, it feels like so long ago, but it was like a month and a half ago. That's like that every afternoon, like somewhere between 3 and 5, huge pop-up thunderstorm, and then nothing. Then it was fine.
Torrential rain for 15 minutes, and then it's done, and then the sun comes back out, and it soaks up all that rain, and it just makes it humid as fuck.
Yeah.
Again, that's why you can't drive the convertible in the summertime, because it's going to rain, then it's going to suck. You're going to burn your forehead, you know. So I drive a convertible, and it's the best in the fall. And even when it's crisp in the fall, like even if I go outside and it's a little bit breezy and chilly in the fall, here's what you do. You roll you put the top down, but you leave the windows up, and then you put the heat on, and it creates this perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, it's so, it's the best. I don't know what to tell you. That's
it's
the best. The only place I'll say this is a caveat to my previous rant about convertibles in the summertime. If I go up to the Parkway, which is at about 3,000 feet.
Right.
Okay, it's okay up there because it's always chillier up on the Parkway. You know what I'm saying? You'll still get burned. You'll still get burnt by the sun, but at least it'll feel good, you know? But anyway, so that's one of my things that I like better about fall. What else? Like I said, I like the holidays. I like.
Jill would like to point out that her bill also does that, but she has a quick grammar change. That too. So with the heat on and the windows up is perfect.
You've experienced it, and this. Me and my wife. Going to be another one of sidetracks for a minute, but we've talked about like. I don't know about again. I haven't mentioned on the show, but we talk to our friends a lot about like. So I believe in this thing called convertible therapy. So to me, like the convertible is one of those like coping mechanisms I have with the world, right? Like everything is perfect. Everything is perfect when you're in the convertible and you're driving. Not in the middle of summer, obviously, but you know when it's a nice day or night and you're out for a drive in the convertible, you're just like, oh my God, this is bliss, right? This is perfect. It just makes me so happy. And I imagine it's what people who ride bikes feel like, you know, my motorcycles or whatever. I just don't like motorcycles because I like keeping skin on my body. So I'm a kind of against those for that reason.
That's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. Like, yeah, I would be the worst at riding motorcycles because I would be like, no, this is horrible.
I'm going to die.
I will die. I will literally die.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think I have enough anxiety where motorcycles make me nervous, but convertibles is just enough freedom, to make me feel good, but not like fear for my life. Anyway, I like them. That's a good time, and the fall is the perfect season. Oh, you were saying about earlier. You mentioned that Asheville is really like fall is its season, and there's a heap of other things that go on in the fall. Here's another thing I like in fall. That's usually when the Renaissance Fair happens around here. Anyway, in the North Carolina area, we have the Renaissance Fair in the fall, which is the perfect time for it.
Yes, it is. It is also Ren Fair season in several of the states that we have our viewers from, Michigan and Minnesota as well. Georgia, because Georgia is Georgia, we do it in the spring because it is too hot to do it right now.
Right. Okay.
It's too hot in the spring to do it.
Well, in all fairness, so the one in North Carolina is right outside of Charlotte, and you can go there, and it's a complete crapshoot. You can show up. And it can be too hot to put on your jerkin. Or conversely, you can be like, well, this is just too damn cold to wear this linen undershirt. Like I'm going to freeze my ass off. Although in all fairness, those medieval shirts are surprisingly warm. We showed up one time and all I had on was a t-shirt. We got out of the car and it was very chilly. And I ended up purchasing a shirt. Like a billowy pirate shirt I purchased because I was cold, but also because I wanted a pirate shirt. But I was able to justify it because I was cold and I was going to freeze to death. And surprisingly warm because the what am I trying to say? The billowier the shirt is, it holds like your body heat, it's like one of those track suits they used to have that were like a trash bag,
Yes.
It's like that. Yes. Like it just traps your body heat in there, and it's like it keeps you kind of warm. I was actually surprised. I was able to walk around the rest of the day and be perfectly comfortable in just this pirate shirt. So anyway, that's a thing that happened. So I love Ren fairs, like you said. The orchard. You go to the orchard. We have that down here too. I live 10 miles from Hendersonville, which is a huge, that's all orchard culture there. That's all they do. That's their thing. They have an apple festival that already happened. Actually, it's at the end of September.
It's not the end of September yet. It's literally the exact middle of September.
Sorry, they had the apple festival. I want to say 2 weekends ago, though. I guess it's the end of August. Never mind.
End of August.
I didn't realize I actually walked up on it. I was actually walking around town in Hendersonville on a Saturday afternoon. I did not realize that was the Apple Festival because it's COVID and everything's kind of abbreviated. So it was just it was a handful of tents in the middle of Main Street. And I was like, oh, I guess they're having like some sort of sidewalk sale or something. It was terribly abbreviated. Usually it's a bigger deal. Usually there's there's like a hot rod show and all this other crap. But this particular time it was kind of lame, in all fairness. But you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, so yeah, apple orchards. We got one around the corner. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Blake's Cidery in Michigan. Yeah, and you were describing all the things that went on at Blake's, and we've got a place like right down the street here called Skytop Orchard. That everybody does the same things at. You go, you pick your apples. You get cider, you get the donuts and all that.
Oh, the donuts! I never cared about the cider. Like I would drink it because it was cider, but literally that was my least favorite thing. The donuts, like I could just get a whole bag of like warm cinnamon sugar donuts. And
here's the thing: at Skytop, the queue for the donuts is like 2 hours long. I actually saw somebody go like get their donuts and then they ate like 3 of them or something and they were like going back to their car. I was
Get
like,
back in the back of line.
no. They were actually no, but they had waited all day and they got their donuts and then they ate a couple of them and then they were going to the car and I was like, you know what? I should just give this guy like twice as much than they're worth and say, hey, I'll give you 20 to give me the donuts now. And then I won't have to wait for him, and he would be like, he would have broke even or better, right? Like because I don't. That's the thing. I hate queues, and I mentioned that I think before. I did say that I hate queues. Like the donuts, they're not a 2-hour queue worth. They're okay. But they're not that good.
Well, right, because you can buy those other places. Like you can get cider donuts, other places.
Right.
It's just in that instance, it happens to be the experience that's more important than the actual donut.
You're there, but there's a queue. There's a huge queue. Yeah, you would be actually, honest to God, I don't think they're any better than like Dunkin's apple fritters, to be honest with you. But everybody's like, "Woo, gotta get them donuts,"
Well, yeah, no, I agree. In that instance, it's the experience that is the fun part.
Right.
And if you don't like queues, that's fine. But I think it's the experience. It's like going to a beer festival, and obviously you and I have been to our share of beer festivals. Like some of them are beers you can get anywhere, but it's kind of the joy about getting this much beer But so like what you'll do is you'll get a beer, you'll get a beer, and then you'll immediately take your beer to a line and drink your beer while you wait for more beer.
While you wait for the next beer.
Yeah.
And by the 8th one, you don't care anymore.
By the 8th one, you need to stand in a really long line because you've been drinking a lot.
By the 9th one, you're standing in line for water.
That is true. Oh, beer festivals.
In the line for the porta potty.
Beer festivals is an entirely different episode that we have.
But they have it in the fall too because of Oktoberfest. Boom.
Yes.
There's your tie-in. There's your segue. We come back around.
And we're back around. No, I'm with you. So yeah, there are just so many, sweaters. I love sweaters.
Sweaters are nice in the summer.
I love pumpkin spice. I like just all this warm fall spices that we consider fall. I'll eat and drink them all year long, but I like them best in the fall because they feel like fall.
They feel like
I
fall.
like leaves. I like apples. I like, what the funny part is I don't actually like apples, but I like apples in the fall because it's the experience.
Right, I'm with you. I like apple pie is not my favorite pie, but I will eat a couple of them in the fall, right? Like if somebody's like, hey, we have apple pie now. Oh, okay, I'll eat the apple pie now because it's fall.
Right.
But
It's apple pie season.
I don't care about apple pie. Apples, actually, this is funny. My wife actually asked me to rank my favorite fruit the other day. And and it turns out it was because like school's not a real thing anymore, right? Everybody's doing like online schooling. And she was here. She was here, and so all the people who run the Purple Onion, like they're all doing homeschooling here at the Purple Onion with their kids, and so it turns out it was for a child's survey or some shit like that, But I didn't know what the context was. She just said rank your favorite fruits, and I gave her more information than she really asked for.
As you do.
As I do, yes. I kept going on and on and on. I was like, well, I like this one, and then I was like, I like peaches, and then I like bananas, and then I like strawberries, and then I like pineapple, and then and then I was like, and I hate fucking grapes and kiwi fruit. Those are awful. Blueberries, I'm mild
Which
on.
wasn't the question. The question was not what fruits do you hate?
Well, you know what? Here's the problem. So she was at work, and I knew she was at work, and I thought she was asking me because she was going to make me a dessert. So
Nice.
I was piecing them together like, here's what I do want, and here's what I don't want. And I was like, and I find pears and apples acceptable, but I don't love them.
Well, but to your point, my favorite fruit will be entirely seasonal. Like if you ask me that question in July, it's 100% going to be pineapple But if you ask me the same question in October, it's going to be pumpkin. Like, there's just not the same.
Right. Okay. Well, I am that way with pastries. Like I definitely have like a calendar of when I eat what pastries because I'm all about like starting into September through all of November. It's pumpkin, 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 pumpkin all the time, right? The day it flips to December, it becomes gingerbread immediately. Like it's like now it's gingerbread time.
Yep, absolutely. No, in our house, I mean, I love gingerbread. Like I'm with you on gingerbread. Like December 1st, gingerbread. But in our house, we mark seasons by pumpkin spice to peppermint. Like when can you do peppermint?
Right.
When is it okay?
Peppermint's the coffee and gingerbread's the pastry.
The pastry, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I also do. I drop the pumpkin coffee at the end of November and I switch to peppermint coffee.
Straight to peppermint. I do it too, but I don't drink coffee, so it's all tea. Like,
yeah,
I drink chai tea all year long. Which chai tea, if we're really boiling
kind of
it down,
spice, but not quite.
It's pumpkin spice tea, and I drink it all year long. But then come December, I'm like, I would rather have some peppermint right now. That'd be delicious. I'm
gonna have the what is it, the sleepy time? Is that the one that's chamomile?
That's chamomile.
Yes. But
I know because we have a lot of sleepy time here in our house.
The same company makes a peppermint tea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but peppermint is also a good flavor in the summertime because it's a nice
cooling.
Yeah, it's cooling and refreshing. Exactly.
It's a cooling spice. Like there are 3 kinds of spices. This is a completely separate topic, but 3 kinds of spices, right? You have hot spice, so any of the really spicy things, like peppers and stuff. That's hot spice. And then you have warm spice, which is all the spices that we talk about for fall. The clove and nutmeg and cinnamon and maybe some ginger. Like those are warming spices. But then you have cooling spices, which are all the mints, and those they're like cold spice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you forgot scary and baby spice.
Those are true. It's true. Yeah. No. Yeah. I love me some Spice Girls jokes, and I just don't have any in me at the moment, but I love them. They're my favorite.
That was your Spice Girls joke for the day.
That is my Spice Girls. So, all right. We are literally like we do every time.
Oh my God.
Literally could talk forever about any given subject. So, we've talked about, so we've hit on some of these fall holidays, fall foods, fall traditions, things like that. So, hit me with your best stuff here. Like what is your go-to way to celebrate fall? What would be like if you couldn't do anything else, if you were like imprisoned in a windowless basement and you were told you could only do one fall thing,
what
would you do?
I would trick or treat.
I'm 100% with you on that. And we will be having a Halloween episode. But yes, trick-or-treating, that is literally my favorite thing. If I trick-or-treated until I was a senior in high school. And if I could have, if I could still do it today as a 45-year-old woman without children, I would, but people find that socially unacceptable.
When you are a parent, you get this great thing called the parent candy tax, right? Which is, I took you trick-or-treating. Now you have to give me all your toffees, or whatever, you pick the thing. But for me, it's the toffees. You're going to give me the toffees. If you've got any Laffy Taffy, if you've got any Now and Laters, if you've got any Starbursts, if you've got nobody does this anymore, but God, you remember Brock's Pick-a-Mix at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's not a thing anymore, right? But those were so good. Oh, the colored Tootsie Rolls. I fucking love, I don't like the brown Tootsie Rolls that much, but the ones that are like the fruit flavors.
Oh, I'll take your brown Tootsie Rolls.
And them over. I'm going to eat them all.
I will trade you brown Tootsie Rolls for colored Tootsie Rolls anytime.
Okay, well.
Anytime.
I don't hate the brown Tootsie Rolls. I just prefer, the best thing is you get an orange Tootsie Roll and you get a vanilla Tootsie Roll and you put them together.
Oh, like creamsicle?
Oh my God, so good.
So really funny story, and we probably should save this to the Halloween episode, but like every time we have an episode, we could talk about it forever. But so I am known among our friend groups as not particularly loving small children. Like, they creep me out in many ways. So I don't love tiny children, especially tiny children. I can't handle them most of the time.
You have a very large kid with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's just a giant baby.
She's like, I'm all about it.
But there is one exception to this rule, and that exception is trick-or-treating, because I love trick-or-treating. Because I can't actually do it, I put all of my energy into giving candy. So I will dress up, I will give out candy. I love it. I love it so much. So you guys came over one Halloween, and we had set up on our street. There's this little like weird triangle park. Like it's just like a.
It's like a weird corner. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you can go this way, that way, or I don't know. It's like
it's a triangle of grass and a tree at the end of our street for no reason. But because our house is just up a hill on a very small street, we wouldn't get trick-or-treaters a lot. So we decided to set up in this triangle because we're right on the main street. So we did that. We set up table, chairs. We all hung out there. Everybody was dressed up. You guys came. A bunch of other people came. And I was in my freaking element. And every time children came up, like, I would lose my mind and be like, here's your candy, here's your candy. And your wife thought it was the funniest thing ever, because normally I'm like, please keep your children from me. Like, I need a 6-foot social distance buffer from children 364 days of the year. But this one day, I was like, here, children, come here, I have candy. And Emily was dying. She thought it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen. Just one day a year. Any other time, I don't care.
You don't care for kids at Dragon Con. You're like, yeah.
No, especially not at Dragon Con. That's another story altogether.
This is an adult event.
I do not. One time at Dragon Con, I was walking through a very, very crowded hotel lobby, and someone had their baby on a blanket just in the middle of the floor. And I'm like, that child is going to get stomped.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying. Everybody's drunk and no one's paying attention. Your child will die. Yeah.
That's like the what do we call them? The free range brewery babies in Asheville. You'll be in a brewery in Asheville, and you'll just see some child crawling across the floor in the brewery.
And you're like, I don't know who that child belongs to, and not my problem. Not a problem of mine. All right, we are coming up on the end of the episode.
Right.
Well, I mean, we probably could. We actually probably have time for something else. Let's see. What else do we have? I think we. What did you say? What do we have?
Rapid fires.
I don't. You know, I should have come up with I usually come up with a list of rapid fire questions just in case, and we never get to them. And now we do. All right. So, well, and some of the questions would be very specific. Like, I don't want to ask you too many specific holiday questions like Halloween or Thanksgiving, because we're going to do those shows. Like, those are their own shows.
Gotcha.
So, but all right, let me think here. What do you like more? No, I don't have one. I thought I had one. What do you like more, spring or autumn? We already covered that.
Yeah. Definitely autumn.
Do you like orange or red better?
Orange.
Brown or gold?
Brown.
Matt was literally on the sea. This is why Matt and we are simpatico. This is why we've been together for 25 years.
Oh my God. Here's another good thing about the fall, because then they bring back out the monster cereal. Like, I think I saw them in the store the other day, and it reminded me. I actually had a really cool T-shirt idea one time, like years ago. I should tell Ian about this, because I used to make T-shirts for a living, actually, like funny T-shirts. It was a brief, like 2 years or so. for 2 years, that's all I did was make T-shirts. And anyway, during that time period, I actually had an idea about making a T-shirt with Count Chocula on it. It said brown as the shirt's black.
I love it. So Heather has a vote for Blueberry. So here's a question for you: favorite Monster cereal?
Blueberry's the worst. It's honest to God, it's a real tie between Frankenberry and Count Chocula. They're both really good. You like Fruit Brute? Is that what you're voting for?
No, I am 100% Team Count Chocula. None of the other Monster cereals exist in my world. I don't like any of them. Count Chocula forever, and that's it.
All right. That's fair. I mean, I like Count Chocula a lot. But I also like strawberry, so I'm pretty okay with Frankenberry as well. I don't care I hate blueberries for the most part. Like there's like 2 things with blueberries in them that I find tolerable. Also, blueberries are a spring flavor, so they don't belong in a fucking fall cereal.
Although, in fairness, we're both wrong. So.
No, I'm sorry. Actually, technically, blueberries, I guess, are a late summer
flavor. They are late summer, yes.
Yeah, actually, I've still got blueberries on the bush right now. We had a really late summer here. It was weird. Like, it didn't get warm until, like, mid-July. And so my blueberry bush didn't start, like, ripening until the last 2 weeks of August. And I'm still getting blueberries off that bush right now. But that'll probably end now with the false fall, you know?
So right before the show, Bill and I were talking briefly about, we harkened back to hobbies. And it occurred to me that my current love for tiki culture is going to be a very expensive hobby in the long run. So to bring it to this conversation, one of the reasons is because Geeky Tikis makes Monster cereal tikis.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that they were like Count Chocula and Frankenberry and all that.
Yes.
We gotta buy those.
Do I need those? I don't need those. Do I want those? Yes, I want those.
Yeah, you gotta have them. So do they have both the Fruit Brute and the Yummy Mummy?
Yummy. They do not have Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy, as far as I recall. It was Blueberry, Frankenberry, but I think they should have all 4 of them, or all 5 of them.
Right.
Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy are just as big a part of that. So, yeah, Heather wants to know, pumpkin cereal?
Pumpkin Cheerios is a thing, and I've had them, and they're great. Yes. Also, this is not related to this fall thing, but Cheerios made a toasted coconut Cheerios during the summer.
Oh.
Also liked them. Just I do buy their seasonal Cheerios sometimes. A caveat to that, I don't eat a lot of cereal anymore. I used to love when I was a kid. I used to come home from school and I'd eat like 4 bowls of cereal while I watched TV. Okay,
right, sure. I mean, we're latchkey kids, right? We're Gen X. That was literally what we did.
It was the thing we did. It was either 4 bowls of cereal or like an entire mixing bowl of cereal, rather, or it was I would make myself mayonnaise sandwiches until I about puked.
Oh God, yeah, no, that's a different show right there. Completely a different show. But Heather is all for your recommendation of coconut Cheerios.
I don't know if you can still find them right now, Heather. You might have to wait till next summer. They were a thing briefly. I actually liked them. Everybody else in my household hated them, but I think I'm probably the bigger coconut fan in the family anyway. I don't know.
I have now taken up too much time with random babbling, and now like we were getting close to not having enough content, but now we have too much content. So all right. So normally at this stage of the show, we would do our mailbag, and sometimes we have questions, sometimes we don't. And this week we do not have questions. But we would remind people to send us questions. Ask us, tell us your opinion. Ask us questions. Tell us we suck. We don't care. Do something. Interact with the show.
Feedback. We just like feedback. That's all. We don't care if it's positive or negative.
Which, to our loyal viewers, we also appreciate your in-show feedback, because obviously that's what makes us very excited. But We would love somebody to write us like absolute hate mail that we could talk about on the show. We just love that. That'd be great.
It's a good 10 minutes.
All right, and real quick before we do things that are extra, we do have an important announcement for everybody watching the show next week, the 22nd, whatever. What is next week? All right, next Tuesday we will be off. We are taking a break. Next Tuesday we will not be online, so we'll post something random in place of the episode. I don't know what that'll be, but I will.
Feel free to watch a rerun.
Exactly. Or tell your friends, share the story. So we will not be on next week, but stay tuned for the following week's episode, which is the 29th. That will be our fall beer episode, autumn beer episode, if you will. And yeah, exactly. And we invite you to bring your own autumn beers, Oktoberfest pumpkin beers to the show. Join us in chat. We would love to talk to you about them. So
that night, yes.
Yes, we want this to be interactive. We would love to have everybody on the show sharing what pumpkin or Oktoberfest beers or other fall beers like browns or stouts or whatever you got, whatever you like. So
yeah,
we would like you to join us. All right, so Bill, things that are extra. What is extra this week?
I'm hoping I didn't cover this already because I bank the things that are extra sometimes. This one was one that struck a nerve with me recently. I don't like restaurants that are cash only.
You did talk about this one.
Did I already talk about that one? Oh, man. Okay, hold on.
I wouldn't stop you. Only it was like 2 weeks ago. So people are going to be like,
hold on a minute. So I had something last week. Hold on. Shoot.
Was last week's shopping cart?
Did I talk about the shopping cart last week?
We did not talk about it, I don't think.
Sorry. Okay, yes, the shopping cart theory. Have you guys heard of the shopping cart theory? Basically, this is a thing about human nature. The people who return the shopping cart are the good humans, and the people who don't are basically the vile people that are making everything terrible. And I kind of agree with it because it's not really putting you out to push the shopping cart either to the shopping cart return or all the way back to the store. Either one is not a big deal, but it says a lot about you as a person. And I brought this up because I think the day I sent it to Laura, I was out and about doing. Sometimes at lunchtime I go shopping, just to get the hell out of the office for a minute. And I had to run an errand, and I was shopping. And I got back to my car, and there were 2 shopping carts parked in front of my car.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right? And I mean, they hadn't hit my car or anything, but I was still like, I got out of my car and I pushed both shopping carts back to the shopping cart return. But the point is that we're trying to have a society here, and the kinds of people who will go out of their way to do a little thing like push the shopping cart back to the thing are keeping society working. And the people who can't be bothered to push the shopping cart back to the return are the kinds of people who are just all in it for themselves and don't care whether or not society fails. I don't know. I'm talking about it in this metaphor situation, but I'm also talking about it in the very distinct, concrete, fucking return your shopping cart, for God's sakes, people. Like, it's not that hard, right? Like, it's not putting you out. I wish, honest to God, here's where I'm at. I'm at it like this. I wish every store was Aldi. I wish every store charged you 25 cents to have a shopping cart. And then you would have to fucking return the shopping cart to get your goddamn quarter back. Because obviously we can't be trusted to do it on our own. And I've read the book Freakonomics. I know like 85% of human beings are mostly good, but those 15% ruin it for everybody, right? So charge them 25%. The 85% won't care because we're going to return the cart anyway. So it's not putting us out to get our quarter back. And then the other 15%, let them piss and moan about it, and they'll still get their quarter back, you know? But they'll return it because they want their goddamn quarter back. Or they'll get there and they'll be like, shit, I can't have a cart because I didn't bring a quarter.
Right. And I would like to quick challenge our viewers that if you are in a supermarket parking lot and you see someone struggling with their cart, for example, an older person, or maybe a differently abled person who is struggling with their cart, offer to take it back for them, because again, it's no skin off our nose, right? Just be a good person.
Whatever. Yeah, it's an extra 12 steps. You know, like, who gives a shit? Like that might be the 12 steps that saves you from diabetes or something.
Exactly. So whether you are returning your own cart or helping someone else return their cart, just be a good human. That's all we're asking.
Well, I mean, I'm just like, I'm returning my cart anyway. And if I'm in a parking lot and I pass like 3 other errant carts, I usually grab those too, because the fuck, why are they out here in the parking lot? It's dumb, like. I mean, I'm not going to walk all the way across the parking lot and get the ones from the other side of the parking lot, but I'll get the ones between my car and the cart return. And that's my business. I mean, it's like, it's not putting me out. Whatever. It's fine. Just return your damn cart. Jesus Christ, people. Like.
All right. So that brings us to the end of the show. And again, we're off next week, but join us in 2 weeks on the 29th and bring your beer. We would like to make that a super fun 6 p.m. happy hour situation. So
absolutely. Yes.
All right. Take us away, Bill.
Oh, yeah. This here show is engineered and produced by Laura Lavoie. The opinions expressed by Bill are those of Bill and Bill alone, except the ones that Laura shakes her head in agreement to, and vice versa for the ones that Laura expresses, and then the ones they both agree on. Like I said, I guess they both share them, and they are not necessarily the opinions of any of the people that don't pay to be advertised on our show, because we're not being paid to advertise anybody. But feel free to pay us to advertise, and then we will try to toe the line. Not really. No, I'm not going to say something I don't believe in, because you gave me money. You can fuck off with that. But anyway. Oh, yeah. But like and subscribe if we're on Facebook. If we're on Facebook, you follow me. Sorry. And like and subscribe me if you're on YouTube. And feel free to leave hateful comments down below. Or likable comments. I don't care. Whatever. Just leave something. Say something. Likeful, yeah.
I would like some likeful comments. I would like any comments. Likeful is better than hateful.
Feel free to disagree with me. These are my opinions. I didn't say they were Bill. It's not Bill has facts. Although sometimes he backs up with facts. But whatever.
All right. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see